I, Baboucarr Jatta.
I, Baboucarr Jatta.
Do swear that.
Do swear that.
Could you do it again, please? Maybe raise the microphone. Raise the microphone closer to him. We need to hear him swear. Yes,
okay.
Thank you.
I, Baboucarr Jatta.
I, Baboucarr Jatta.
Do swear that.
Do swear that.
I'll speak the truth.
I'll speak the truth. The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
Nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
You may be seated, sir. Mr. Jatta, welcome back to the TRRC.
Thank you very much.
You are one of the few people who have the privilege of coming for a round two.
And I'll come back again.
Let us make round two a very truthful testimony. You know the rules. It is an offense to lie under oath in this country. It is also an offense to provide false testimony to the TRRC.
Okay.
Do you understand?
I do.
Remember the slogan, the truth shall your biographical information in order to establish who you are. We already know who you are. So now let's cut the chase and go straight to the issues. We want you to talk about two important things, or if I may say, three important things. The most important one is April 10, 11. I would give you an opportunity to say something also about the death of Ousmane Korosise, just the little bit that you know. And also we want to talk to you a little about the junglers. You understand?
Yes, please.
Thank you. So now tell us about April 10, 11, 2000, what happened, starting from the day before.
The day before, I had no clue of what was going on, but we got an information from the Secretary to the National Security Council, my permanent secretary, Esakan. He is the permanent secretary to Defense. He alerted me that there will be a meeting for the NSC, National Security Council.
At this stage, what was the composition of the National Security Council?
It's been co-chaired, it's chaired by the Vice President, or for the President. We have the Inspector General of Police, the DG National Intelligence Agency, myself, and we sometimes co-opt the Finance Minister and Attorney General.
At this stage, what was your position?
My position in the National Security Council is as Chief of Staff, Chief of Defense Staff. Let me just clarify one issue here. There are two things going on. I am appointed as Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces, not Chief of Defense Staff. But on another letter, I will sit in the National Security Council as Chief of Defense Staff.
Point noted. In any case,
wow.
At both periods, you were head of the Gambia National
Armed Forces. Yes,
Gambia Armed Forces.
Yes, please.
Good. Proceed, please.
So, we are all set ready for the meeting, but it did not hold. By 3 a.m. on the 10th,
this would be what day?
On the 10th.
On the 10th, early in the morning?
Yes, 3 a.m.
All right, proceed.
I got a call from the Inspector General of Police that the meeting may not hold.
Who was that person at the time?
Rex King.
Thank you. Just allow me to finish my questions before you start responding.
Okay.
We have to avoid the overlap of speeches. Thank you. Proceed, please.
Was Rex King. He told me that I hope this meeting will hold, because I don't think this meeting will hold because the students intend to demonstrate. I said, where? He said, maybe around Serekunda area. I said, I could back you up. I'll use the National Guard. He said, okay.
And what do you mean by that?
That's what I say, if he needs some more men, because it was in the night, I can send, because Fajara Barracks National Guard, I have almost up to close to 50 police officers who were with us during the amalgamation from the defunct TSG.
You wanted to use military personnel to support him,
yes,
correct?
The police who are now military personnel.
That's right.
Then military personnel to support him.
But even at this stage, did you consider the legality of what you are talking about?
Well, we were told that that barracks has to be have another assignment under limited police powers. It never materialized until 2000, after the student demonstration. It was enacted. So
at this stage, it was not made law for the military to participate in intervening on civil strife, on civilian matters?
No, no, no.
Then why did you make the undertaking to back him up?
I'm going to back him up. In the event, when the police come, I'll withdraw.
But you knew that this was not a military matter?
No.
You did not at this stage?
And I did not implement it.
Are you sure you did not implement it?
Should he demand, I said, I will help.
But what were you going to help on? Was it within the responsibility of the Gambia National Army to interfere in civil strife, in demonstrations?
No.
It's not your mandate, isn't it?
No, no, it's not our mandate at that time.
Exactly. Why did you undertake to back him up?
In the event, he has no men. You know, it was in the night.
But
early morning.
So you're saying that if the police cannot do it, we, the army, will do it, even though it's not our responsibility?
If he lacks the manpower at that moment.
So that was your position?
Before daybreak.
Okay. Regardless of the law with regards to your mandate?
Yes, please.
All right. But do you realize that, in fact, you are getting yourself in murky waters because you were about to jump into something that was completely outside your authority?
Yes, please.
Proceed, please.
So it did not materialize. But early morning when I was going to work, I decided to pass by the GTTI, Westfield GTTI. I went up to GTTI. I met the police there with some students gathered there. And at the head of the police was Baboucarr or Moduso. So,
what was his position in the police force?
I really don't know the rank then, but he testified.
My question is, what was his position
in the police?
Yes.
He was director. He's the head of operations.
Head of operations, you said?
The police. If
you said he testified?
Yeah, he testified here.
Would that be Baboucarr Sow?
Baboucarr Sow.
Commissioner for operations?
Then commissioner for operations, yes.
That's the person.
He's the very guy I met at the GTTI.
When did he testify?
Yes. Day before yesterday. Yes, day before yesterday. So,
yes.
The bald-headed man.
Yes.
Because he testified.
Okay. So now we are clear.
Whether Modu Sow or Baboucarr Sow.
We now clear the person you're talking about.
Yes, please. Yes.
All right, proceed, please.
So I dropped from my vehicle because it was getting a little bit messy with the student. But I talked to Sow to say, please let us know when there's the need to get to. We have Radio Gambia here. I have my men at Radio Gambia. If you run into trouble.
Did you ask him what he was doing there?
Yes, he said, yes, please. He said that they were to pick up point, if I could remember, for Gamsu. And that I saw them disembarking students, but I was not very sure why they were there. But I know that they were there with students.
Did you speak to him?
I did speak to him.
Did you ask him why he was there?
Yes, he said that the students are not supposed to go to Banjul. If I could fully remember.
Did he say anything about vice president?
No, I did not ask, and he did not tell me anything concerning the vice president.
Did he tell you anything about a meeting?
No, I should tell him about the meeting of Gamsu. I know about that one. But I did not tell him about the meeting. I just should tell him.
Did he tell you that there was a meeting to be attended that day?
Baboucarr so?
Yes.
No, I know that I was supposed to attend that meeting.
Okay. All right, proceed, please. And the meeting was with who?
At the vice president's office, NSC.
Okay. Did the students have anything to do with that meeting?
Yes, I learned that they are supposed to be there. They should be at the vice president's office to be heard.
Who was
the Gamsu student?
Who was to take them there?
Pardon me?
Who was to take them there?
I don't know that one.
You don't know?
Yes.
Mr. Jatta, do you recall giving a statement?
Mm-hmm.
Do you recall giving a statement to the investigators?
Okay.
Do you recall that? Do you recall giving a statement?
Yes.
And if you see that statement again, you will be able to recognize it.
Okay,
correct?
Let me see.
Yes. Could you pass him a copy? And okay, get out. We see to be passed the same copy today.
Where, Falla? Where is it? Demonstration, huh?
Do you see the signature? Take a look at the signature page.
Yes.
It's towards the end of the statement.
Okay.
Look at the signature page.
That's my signature.
Okay.
I signed.
And you recognize this statement as yours,
yes,
correct?
Yes.
Could you kindly pass it on to the chair?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, perhaps I'll just at this stage request to put in the statement as evidence. Mm-hmm. Yes, and it should be Exhibit 86, 0086. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Could you pass the statement to Mr. Jatta?
I have
In fact, you have your own copy.
Yes, I have
Bring that
copy.
one to me. Thank you very much, Mr. Jatta. Could you take a look at paragraph 4?
Mm-hmm.
But on the next page,
Okay.
you would see that you wrote that he said to me that going by arrangements with the Gamsu executive, GTTI, was supposed to be the picking point of the students to the office of the Vice President, H.E. Aissatou Njie Seydi.
Yes.
Do you remember saying that to the
Yes.
investigators?
Yes.
But I just asked you the purpose, whether Mr. So told you what he was doing there. You said no. Did you forget?
Yes. This time we are not talking. I may refer to the students, but not the Gamsu students. There are two things. The executive was to be picked at the GTTI.
I appreciate that.
Okay.
Maybe this was a misunderstanding.
All right.
My question was, did he tell you why he was there? In your statement, you said he told you that they were there to pick up the students.
Sorry, Gamsu students.
Yes.
Executive, Gamsu executive.
Yes, but
Yes,
but those are students.
I say students.
Yes.
No, but I should be specific.
Okay. My question was really more on what he said about the reason for him being there. But proceed with your testimony.
Okay. So I said to him again, today is examination day. What are you going to do with this? Because some of these students may be going to exams. But there was no reaction. I said, that's it. I went to the back. This is from the GTTI, and at the GTTI, I moved back to Joshua.
Did the commissioner say anything about what the students intended to do?
No, he's not telling me.
Did you hear anybody say anything about a demonstration?
That they are going to demonstrate. I was told by the Inspector General of Police.
But when you were
at
GTTI, did the commissioner say anything about demonstration?
No, he's not telling me. But I know that this was the information we got.
Mr. Jatta, did you read your statement today?
I should think so.
You read it and then you signed it, correct? All right, and in fact, we also discussed it earlier.
Yes, please.
But if you look at the same paragraph I directed your mind to, you did say the commissioner further buttressed that there were possibilities that the students would go on a demonstration.
At the ground, in the country?
Yes.
Yes.
But I just asked you now whether he said anything about a demonstration.
Oh, okay, all right. Yes, he talked to me. He also emphasized that the student plans to go on a demonstration.
That's right. Then I advise you that you listen to the questions carefully.
Okay.
Because if you do not answer properly, it may appear that you do not want to be truthful when it is just perhaps a misunderstanding of the question. All right?
Yes,
so listen to the question carefully before you go to answer. So from your statement, what you have here, he told you that was the picking point for the GAMSU executive to go to the vice president.
Yes, please.
He further said that, but it looks like that the students are going to demonstrate.
Yes.
That is what is contained in your statement.
Yes, please.
Is that the truth?
That's the thing.
Proceed, please.
Okay. So I moved back while my, my orderly got my vehicle across to the other end of Joshua, GTTI, towards Banjul. I stood there for some time. There, I saw the Secretary of State, Mr. Usman Baji. He came and he dropped right in front of it where so was. Commissioner.
What time of the day
in the
was
morning.
this? What time? At around what time in the morning?
I think before 8 o'clock. I should think so. Around 8 or after, just after 8, I should think. That early morning.
Proceed, please.
But I saw them talking, but I don't know what they were saying. So I stood there.
Did you join them?
No, I didn't join them. I was at the end.
Okay, proceed.
I stood down there for a while. Then all of a sudden, it didn't take long. The police started firing tear gas.
You were there?
Yes.
When you saw the police started firing tear gas?
The tear gas, yes, I was there.
At this stage, what was the comportment of the students before the first tear gas canister was fired?
They were relaxed. They had been dropped from vehicles. Could it be they themselves? I saw them, some were dropping, but some were passing.
What was their comportment?
They did not take, they are just very calm down there.
Peaceful?
Very peaceful.
Did they throw stones at anybody?
No.
Did they provoke anybody?
I did not see them provoking the situation.
Were you surprised when you saw tear gas canisters flying into the group of students?
So I don't know what could be the cause of that, but it in fact affected us. The breeze was coming from GTIN.
Did the students do anything that warranted tear gas to be thrown at them at this stage?
I don't think so.
Did you see anything that would warrant it?
I was not at the front line there, but I don't see anything that warranted to be fired, to be thrown to them.
What came to your mind when you saw tear gas canisters being fired at the students?
I knew that in the front there could be a problem. Because the minister was also there, the Secretary of State was there too. But just because the gas was coming this way, I decided to leave the place.
Proceed.
Okay. So I left for Banjul. I went to the headquarters.
Let me clarify this again. Which minister was present there?
Secretary of State Usman Baji.
For which ministry?
Interior, for the Department of State for the Interior.
Proceed, please.
So I left the place on my way to Banjul. So as I reached at the Radio Gambia Johnson, you know, where Radio Gambia Johnson connects to Banjul Highway, I slowed down. I saw some vehicles coming from that end. As I reached at the Cape Point Road also, I saw other vehicles coming. So sometimes I wonder, why should one place be blocked, two other places are not blocked? So, but I didn't take it seriously. I went up to Denton Bridge. I saw that everybody is passing smoothly. I went straight to the office. When I reached at the office, I called my man, that is the commanding officers. I said, there is a planned demonstration going on, maybe from my own explanation. I said, today the police and the students may run into riot. If you have anybody coming from Banjul, avoid that area. I called Yundum. I called the camp commandant. He's also double in Yundum. I called Baboucarr.
Could you tell us the names of those officers you spoke to?
Okay. At 1 Infantry Battalion, you have Captain Vincent Jatta. He's the commanding officer. There is a difference between CO and OC.
Commanding officer and officer commanding. Yes.
Below battalions are officer commanding. Company commanders are officer commanding. Platoon commanders are officer commanding. But battalion commanders are commanding officers.
Yes, Mr. Jatta. Thanks so much for clarifying that important point.
Okay. Then at Farafenye, you have Captain Baboucarr.
And he too is officer commanding.
He's CEO.
Commanding officer.
Commanding officer.
Because he commands a battalion.
Yes.
Was that a battalion in Farafenye? A battalion in numbers or a battalion in name?
Battalion minus.
Battalion in name, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
There are very few people. And I call Fajara also. I have Captain Ibu Jallo, Cherno Jallo. I called the State House. That was Usman Sonko. Yes. Huh? Then I called the Navy.
And Usman Sonko?
Yes.
Which unit was he heading?
State Guard Commander. If my memory serves at that point, he was the State Guard Commander.
At this stage, let's try to identify all those units that were under your command as Army Chief of Staff or Chief of Defense Staff.
Okay. Let's talk first about my own headquarters. I have the support components element, we call it Gambia Armed Forces Headquarter Camp. GAF HQ.
Okay, HQ.
Camp.
HQ camp.
Yes. These are military police.
We don't have to. You don't have to. Okay. Just tell us the various units.
They are commanded by camp commandant.
Okay.
No, that was then Captain Kante, Momodu Kante.
Okay.
But he is in Yundum. But others, most cases, may come through base, and if it comes to operation.
You have HQ camp?
Yes. I have 1 infantry battalion. That's Yundum. 2 BN.
2 BN?
Farafenye.
That's Farafenye.
Yes. National Guard.
National Guard.
Fajara. The State Guard is under the National Guard.
Okay. So National Guard, you have State Guards also?
Yes, as part of them.
Okay.
Then I have the Navy, MB SAR. Those days we have MB SAR.
And then you have
sometimes Asan SAR also came in at one time, but by 2000, if my memory serves me right, it should be Mahmoud B SAR.
Okay. So that's the light skin SAR as opposed to the dark skin SAR?
Yes.
Okay, good. So
no. The light skin SAR is MB SAR.
Yes.
The dark skin is Hassan SAR.
Yes.
Yes.
So now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 entities.
Okay.
Under your authority.
But don't count State Guard.
HQ camp.
Okay. 1
BN.
1 BN.
2 BN Farafenye.
That's right.
National Guards, including the State Guards, and the Navy.
You got it.
Good. And you had effective command and control over these forces.
Yes.
That's your testimony.
Except the State Guard. There is a parity. I just want to explain something. Not that they are not part of us. We control the men and the weapons. But the logistics, like the feeding, transport, everything is Secretary General.
Isn't that a logistical issue? An arrangement, a convenient arrangement because they are based in State House. Isn't it just more reasonable or more convenient for their food to come from State House instead of from Yundum Barracks or from Fajara Barracks?
They are detached. We call them detached element.
Are the personnel detached?
Yes, once they're with the State Guard, we have less to do with them.
No. Are the personnel detached?
The State Guard is a detached component.
You control the men.
Yes.
You control their weapons.
Weapons.
You control their uniforms.
Correct.
You control their movements.
No.
Who controls their movements?
As a State Guard commander.
Who controls the movement of the State Guard commander?
On a routine basis. Okay. It comes to the unit, to National Guard. But we have no control when we have to say, hey, don't do this, don't do that. Is that clear?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's not. Who controls the State Guard commander? Who gives him his orders?
From the State House, from the President.
Was that the arrangement?
That is the arrangement.
So you did not have any authority over the State Guard commander?
No.
That's your testimony, Baboucarr?
Yes.
We would hear other people who have occupied your position before?
Administratively, no. Sorry, tactically, no. Administratively, yes. Because when they need more men, they'll come to GNG and take them to State House. When they have to post people out of the State House, they go to the GNG. But morning routine, where they post their men, where they head to, no.
No, of course. You being the army commander, you would not descend to the fray by telling the unit commanders who to post where.
Yes.
You don't do that.
No.
And equally, you would not do it with the commander of the State Guards.
No.
Exactly. So, but functionally, did you have command and control over the State Guards commander?
Yes.
You have command and control over the State Guard commander?
Yes.
That's your testimony?
Yes. Whatever I want from them, if I don't call him, I call the unit commanders to say, I want to know. I want this information from the State House. Sometimes we avoid bypass.
Who chooses the State Guard commander?
It should be we, but for the convenience of the President, he chooses the State Guard commander.
Have you ever been in a situation where you chose the State Guard commander, and of course you would get his agreement?
Yes.
But would you be the one choosing the State Guard commander?
I should be choosing, but when he fires them, he doesn't consult me.
Okay, proceed, please.
So, why did we stop? So I want all of them to say, avoid Westfield area as much as possible. You know, at that time...
And did you warn the State Guard commander?
Yes, please.
Why did you have to warn him?
Because the people are also going to leave from Banjul coming to Serekunda, and their duty is to stay put.
And you did so also because you had command and control authority over him?
Yes, please.
Proceed, please.
Yes. So, for those, maybe when they could call upon their own men to avoid that area, because there's some activity going on with the students. So we looked at everything has gone down. From there on, I thought I may be going to the meeting at the Vice President's office, but I think I was the only person available. The DG was nowhere to be found. The IG said he was busy at his office with this demonstration. So what I did was I informed about that his protocol officer that I am at the office. And then, after some time, we had this movement at the arch. They said the students have entered Banjul. So I told my deputy, why not go and find out what's going on at the arch and get down to where the police were. I called rescuing his...
What was the name of your deputy?
My deputy is Lieutenant Colonel Momodu Baji. He is the present National Security Advisor.
Is he known by any other name?
Sankare.
Proceed, please.
As he moved up to the arch, he met up with the students down there coming in. But then he did not leave early, so I also left to say, let me go down to that place and see what's going on by myself. And I told the IG, I am going down to where the students are as now with the police. So I left. I met him at the arch. I told him, you go back, put up something, let's see what we can do. Keep the units on standby.
What do you mean by that?
Write up something. Yes, draft something. That's for the unit to be on standby, because we don't know
what were you talking about?
Warning order.
Warning order.
Maybe you may understand it as operations order.
Exactly.
So, but it's written there. When we say
you wanted to know the name.
And we say fragmentary. Fragmentary means warning order, which doesn't carry a nickname or a code. Put the men on standby. 1, for our own defense. 2, should the need be to deploy at any moment. That's to say that we are anticipating...
Deploy to do what?
Maybe to help the police, who knows?
But you realize,
our arrangements are
you had told us before,
yes,
that really that is not a matter for the military.
Yes, but we do train on IS, internal security. We do train on drill. But then over the time, we've lost control of that tactics because we never knew.
Let me ask you, Mr. Jatta.
Yes.
Unless a state of emergency is declared, do you think the army would have the authority to deploy to address an internal issue?
No.
They don't have that authority?
Yes, but when the authority was given for you to deploy, you will deploy. But here...
we're not talking about the law.
Okay. No.
If a state of emergency is not declared...
It's not declared.
Would the army have the authority to deploy to address civil strife, demonstrations, students doing disorder?
No, that's the police.
So why were you preparing to deploy?
I'm not
sure. In a matter that you knew was purely for student demonstration?
Yes, initially I was not sure of my back.
Okay.
11 November has taught us a lesson. And you know, Second Republic 1994 was marked by civil disobedience. I'm not referring to civilians interfering with the military. But once the civilians are disgruntled, soldiers are also disgruntled. Okay. So we were anticipating at any level whatever could go wrong. But this is the norm. When we felt that there's an emergency at one end, we want to keep these soldiers from going home. Otherwise, if they leave, trying to recall them is always a problem. And the only unit you have down on the ground is the QRF. And the QRF, in most cases, is always a platoon. And by doing so, it could be, if there's an attack, sometimes the QRF itself will not be able to move. So we put the whole unit on standby. When things start to subside, we go on half standby, then finally, no more standby.
Proceed, please.
Yes, no more standby.
All right. Let me just clarify one point.
Okay.
We have looked at the Constitution, and it appears that the President can deploy the forces even without declaring a state of emergency in events where it is required to maintain public safety and security or public order. So it was right to prepare to deploy.
Yes, and here is a situation like what used to happen at the border. Sometimes, you know, our neighbors are in serious instability. We have some rebels coming in, sometimes going out, and we used to pursue them. So the purpose of maintaining that unit there is for emergency, or if you have to put the entire unit on standby. So this time around, I put the entire unit on standby, but not knowing what to do with it because there's no information, we don't have anything. But we say, let's be on standby and see. Do I go further?
Proceed, please.
So, Baji came back, and I went to the Westfield ground. I cut them up at Westfield.
What time?
At Westfield. I met them at Westfield, the students and the police.
What time did you arrive at
I should arrive between 9 and 10. Yes. There I met the Secretary of State, Mr. Usman Baji was there. Baboucarr Sow, Commissioner of Operations, was there. Sankum Baji was there, and I saw Tatim Baji there, and Baba Job was also there.
Who was Sankum Baji?
DIG. Deputy Inspector General of Police.
Okay, good.
Okay.
And who was Tatin Baji, Landing Baji?
He is the commissioner, I should think, for West Coast, Western Division or what. But he's a police officer. Was a police officer.
And wasn't he CMC at the time?
I can't remember.
All right. Okay, it's all right, no problem. But Baba Job, what position did he hold at the time?
Baba Job was just an Assistant Secretary of State in the State House. He is the command.
Assistant Secretary or Assistant Secretary of State?
Assistant Secretary. Stop there. Secretary, that was too much.
Thank you very much.
Assistant Secretary, thank you.
Assistant Secretary of State would make him Deputy Minister at the time.
Yes.
And there was no such position in Gambia.
Yes. Thank you for the rectification. And two, he was the head of first movement called Movement for the Defense of the Revolution. Then that transformed into July 22nd movement.
What type of movement was that?
A political movement
for the defense of the revolution.
Revolution, wow.
Was it an armed group or a civilian group?
They're just a political group.
Okay.
Civilian group.
Unarmed?
Unarmed.
Proceed.
What they should be.
All right, proceed, please.
I met him there. But he was armed.
With what?
A pistol.
How do you know? Did you frisk him?
His side was bulky. And when I was passing,
But in Gambia here,